Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Eric Johnson and this is Cinescope Motion Pictures. Today we're going to be taking a look at something that is very timely because spring is in the air, and that is ND filters, or as they're called, neutral density filters. So in Seattle here we have some birds chirping, sun's coming out. I thought today would be the perfect day to show you guys a brand new filter by Tiffen. These are fairly new. Wrong side, that has the label, sorry, kind of messed it up for you. Tiffen, and these are natural ND filters. So there's different kinds of ND filters. There's variable ND filters and there's fixed. And these are fixed, so it's 6-stop ND filter. This is a 1.8 ND filter and comes in this nice package with a little extra protection here. What you get with this lens is 6 stops of darkness added to the front of your lens, meaning you can keep your camera at a full open setting and get the best result out of your lenses while using this sweet ND filter. So basically, a lot of times what I used to do as well in a lot of live events is what you have to do is stop up your camera a bunch, bring the shutter way high in order to get the frame dark enough when you're outside. What that does is you lose the depth of field, and also the movement on the camera gets a little choppy and funny, especially at 24 frames per second. In fact, I'm going to show you guys real quick what some built-in ND filters look like on live event cams. This here is my handy, trusty live event camera. This and its twin go everywhere with me when I'm filming weddings, just because it's so nice to have that mobility run and gun feel. So here are the stops. There's 0, there's 1 and 1 or 1/4, excuse me, 1/16 and 1/64. So the equivalency of the ND stop we're using here is close to this 1/16. And basically that's 6. This is probably a 10 stop here. That's for extreme brightness. I'm going to Mexico in a week or two, so I will probably bring some footage back from that to show you guys some of that stuff on a different video. But I may need something up there for that one, or just roll up my shutter slightly. But the problem with rolling up your shutter, like we said, is you lose that depth of field. So if you're trying to capture cinematic footage, you don't really want to have to do that. And that is the goal of this whole channel, is Cinescope Motion Pictures, trying to capture things cinematically and storytelling and artsy versus just putting your camera on and hitting record, which is how I grew up, just filming for years doing that. And in the past 10 years or so, I've gotten into the more artsy side of things, which is a lot more fun, and there's a ton more things involved with it. So we're going to check out a quick video where I'm using this ND filter on the GH5 with the speed booster, Metabone speed booster, and the Sigma Art lens, the 50mm. We're just going along a branch, and you're going to see the first one is where the shutter's brought way high and the camera movement's just a little interesting. It is exposed well, but it's just not as good. You don't get the full features of the bokeh in the lens, the movement in the lens. Some people say bokeh, which sounds like flowers, so I'm going to say bokeh because that's what sounds right to me. And then the second one, I'm going to show you the correct settings I use with the ND filter, but I do not have the ND filter on, and it's just a blown out shot. You can barely see any detail. Third, I'll put the ND filter on. You'll see that movement, and you see the bokeh just moving through the lens, and that is getting the optimal performance from your lens while getting the optimal performance from your camera, hence why this is important. The fourth setting is taking the speed booster and just fully dialing that down from f1.4, which is what the lens starts at, and goes all the way to almost close at 16. So you're getting just barely any light through there into the camera, which means everything's in focus. It's shutting the light into the sensor down almost completely. So that one is the least, it's not like it's a bad image, it's just very cheap looking. It doesn't have that wow factor like the others will. First, let me say I did 0 post-production work on any of these shots. I just shot them real quick just to show you a sample. So the very first one was exposed the best. However, the depth of field wasn't as good, and you were losing the bokeh that you get when you're using the ND filter. The ND filter one, it was slightly brighter, but I just could have adjusted one little setting. But it did look the best for depth of field and look of the lens and the movement and the magic look on the lens. So that is the Tiffen NATural ND Filter. These things are amazing. They're not just coated. This is in the glass. So you could scrape this, whatever else. I don't advise scraping it. Keep it safe. But if it was scraped, it would not lose the ND-ness of this filter, which is the neutral density-ness. I make words up all the time. Thanks for joining me for Cinescope Motion Pictures. I will see you next time.